In the kitchen now with Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council. Great to see you, Angie.
Good morning.
This is my dad's favorite. Always have to do, if he's visiting from out of town, the prime rib roast. And he likes the bone in, and he's got to have that first slice. That's the way it is. No messing around with Dad. Prime rib roast is just such a neat thing to do during the holidays.
It is, and it's very popular in Wisconsin. A lot of family traditions like yours, like mine, and we just love having it at the holidays. It's a large piece of meat, so it's going to feed a lot of people, and it's a premium cut. So this is tender, this is juicy, this is flavorful. You don't need to water it, no water, you don't need to cover it. We're just going to roast it. And no steaming involved, none.
And I think that is, people are nervous about doing a prime rib roast. I know I was for years because you spend a lot of money on it. You know, it's the holidays, and so you don't want to screw it up. Don't worry. Follow our steps here. You won't screw it up. Instant read or a meat thermometer is key.
Yes, meat thermometer is key. We're going to put that in before we put it in the oven. It's one of our most important ingredients in this recipe. So once you roast it, if you go too far, you can't go back. And I like that nice pink in the middle, nice pink medium rare. So we want to watch our thermometer. I always set my oven for about 20 minutes a pound, which is on the low side. But once you go, you can't go back.
Right,
so
right. And it continues to cook when you take it out of the oven. So now this is a big piece of meat. We're gonna make a nice seasoning rub. And I think that's another thing people go wrong is they don't season it enough.
Right. This rub is kind of fancy. It has a lot of flavors in it, but all dried ingredients. So a lot of the stuff you already have in your pantry. So we're going to start with espresso. Ground
coffee.
Espresso.
Huh.
And then we've got some granulated garlic.
Okay.
Some thyme. Some rosemary.
Okay.
Some celery seed. Coriander, which is a little different. Pepper.
Lots of black pepper.
And a lot of kosher salt, 4 teaspoons of kosher salt.
Okay.
And then some garlic.
Okay, dried garlic.
Dried garlic. And then some dry mustard.
Okay.
So a little bit of a mustard flavor.
Now
which is going to also be in our horseradish cream sauce.
This rub has a lot going on. You could certainly not do all this kind of stuff if you don't want to. You could just do a lot of salt and pepper, maybe some rosemary. But the moral of the story is, it's really nice to put some sort of an herb crust on the outside. Gives it some great flavor.
Yes, and I will.
A little olive oil down first.
Oil, yep.
Sprayed our roasting pan. And then we just kind of really pat this in.
Yeah, we're going to rub it in. If you want to sprinkle it on, I'll pat it in.
Okay.
Since my hands are already dirty.
You bet.
The oil helps it stick too. I'm going to flip it up. I like doing this rub right in the pan I'm going to roast it in, because then you don't lose any of your seasonings. They're going to be in the pan, and we're going to use our pan drippings.
And you can see how much, you know, this may look like a ton of seasoning, but really, you need it. It's going to give it some great flavor. So we're going to really coat all of this rub and rub it in there. Got a question for you. I've read about, and I wondered your feeling about when you take the roast out of the refrigerator to maybe let it sit a little at room temperature before you roast it. Don't take it out of the fridge, put the rub on and get right in there.
Right. As long as it's under 2 hours.
Okay.
We like to say at the Beef Council that we use that 2-hour window, because once you go back, like even if you're cooking, you want to get your leftovers back in the refrigerator within 2 hours. Pull it out. I like letting mine set too. Let it come up a little to room temperature. Seems to help the flavors meld in a little bit, and then it gets it ready. Gets it ready for the oven too.
Just like if you're grilling a steak, you don't want to take it right from the ice box to the ice box. The ice box.
The ice box.
To the grill, because it's just better. It's better that way. It brings the meat up to room temperature, so you're going to get a nice sear on it instead of using that ice cold meat.
So I used my fingers and I measured. So I've got my thermometer right in the center part of the roast. So we're going to watch this thermometer. We have a 350-degree oven.
350, that's what you roasted at,
No liquid, no cover, 350 degrees, and a rack too if you'd like.
Okay.
And then if you have a bone in, your bones act as the rack.
Okay.
Watch your thermometer, but I usually set my oven for 20 minutes a pound. So this was a 4-pound roast. So we'd set it for an hour, 20 minutes, and check our thermometer. I take it out then when it is 135 degrees.
That's going to be that nice pink, medium rare, 135. If you like it more well done, you go 140, 145. It's up to you how long you want to roast it. Do you tent it when it comes out?
Yes, I tent it with foil. And this roast is big. It can set up to 30 minutes.
Which is nice. You can get the mashed potatoes and all the, you know, the side dishes going and let it rest before you carve into it. So here it is.
Break him
Ooh,
out.
look at
let
the
him
crust.
rest. It's got a nice
Ooh.
crust on it.
Ooh.
We're going to let him sit while you make the pan sauce.
Yes, so these are the drippings from the pan that we've already removed. I've got a little bit of cornstarch, a little bit of cold water. It's going to thicken up those drippings. Merlot wine, about how much Merlot?
Half a cup.
Half of a cup. So this
Half
is
a
a
cup.
dry red wine that you might be serving with the dinner as well. Beef stock.
About 1.5 cups, so half of that.
And then some Worcestershire sauce.
Yes.
And this is going to take those pan drippings to a whole nother
About
level.
a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
And I'll make the second sauce while you're making that, or I'll get it started for you.
What I like too is this is going to stretch the sauce, you know, because you're only going to get so much pan drippings, and you know, you got a lot to serve. You got a nice sauce, and that Merlot wine is going to be really nice with it. Now you're making a horseradish sauce, which I also love to serve with prime rib. So
started with 8 ounces of just a light sour cream. I'm
Okay.
going to add a half a cup of mayonnaise.
okay,
You could use salad dressing too. Dijon mustard,
Okay.
about 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of creamy jarred horseradish. Some kosher salt. About a tablespoon of just a chopped green onion.
and that you could make, I would think, up to a couple days ahead of time. Get it in the refrigerator.
Definitely. And then a white balsamic vinegar. Get a little tang.
So I'm going to. We'll take a break now,
yeah,
actually,
perfect.
and we'll carve
Okay.
up our prime rib, and then we have 2 sauces to go with this. This Merlot sauce that we made with the beef drippings, and this creamy, wonderful horseradish sauce. All the recipes that we do on the show today, foxsullivanonline.com. Click on the Living tab and recipes, and they'll be right there. You can also call the Beef Council. You'll send them out free. The number?
Yes. 1-800-728-BEEF, which is $23.33 on the phone.
And
And we
just
will mail them free.
Tell them which recipes you want, the ones you saw on Living with Amy, the beef prime rib roast and the beef tenderloin roast, which we're going to make a little later on, a stuffed beef tenderloin, so I can hardly wait.